Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. We thank Editor-in-Chief of City and State New York, Ralph Ortega, for being with us in our first segment. And I love our second segments because that's when we change gears and we bring on just wonderful performers and artists in the Bronx. And it is my pleasure to welcome a friend, Linda Maritza Collazo, who is a mezzo-soprano voice and piano teacher. She's an opera singer. Nice to see you again, Linda. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
People say, wait a minute, an opera singer from the Bronx. Now, we know that Samara Joy is a jazz singer and she won a Grammy Award. Maybe we'll get you there to that point at some point. I know,
I
Linda.
wish.
Well, it's this, you're young enough. It's only a matter of time. Talk to me a little bit about growing up in the Bronx and somehow you got attracted to opera and you became an opera singer.
All right. So I started playing piano when I was 7. I mean, first of all, my mother was always into salsa, and salsa was basically well, a lot of it was invented in the Bronx. A lot of the greatest music was created in the Bronx in the salsa genre. So my mom always played that for me in the car since I was as young as I could remember. And she just believed in us becoming musicians, me and my sister, just for the benefits of the brain, not necessarily to become stars, but to literally make us just smarter and to give us a little hobby. And my mom was incredibly proactive, and she
Can
found.
I just interject on that? Of course, music does that, and every parent. And I talk about universals in the Bronx, like things that you talk about because I've been doing this for a little while. If you talk about music or name me one parent that doesn't want to have a music program in their school for their child in the Bronx. I can't talk about the other places. So anyway, I'm sorry, I had to
No,
interject
it's okay. It's
there.
okay.
That is it's part of our DNA in the BX.
Yeah,
So
I
go ahead.
believe so.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's a shame that it's not in schools like it used to be. But my mom did a ton of research of like free and cheap music programs in the Bronx and in the South Bronx in particular. And so I was in a ton of music programs, like from Renaissance Youth Center to finally like the Point CDC is where I kind of settled, which is actually where I work now. But back then there was a free music program, and there is now, but it was a little bit bigger back then, and I was able to like literally be there every day and take piano lessons, take saxophone lessons, take bass guitar lessons. And then it got to a point where I was just so in love with music. I was auditioning for LaGuardia High School just for the hell of it. I could barely sing. I was really afraid of singing. That wasn't my main thing. When I was 13 years old, my main thing was playing piano. So I auditioned for singing just to like wing it, and I also auditioned for piano. I
This was
managed
to
to get
get into LaGuardia.
yeah, to LaGuardia, and I managed to get into both for both programs.
Wow.
The first day of school, I was crying, freaking out
Oh,
because they put me in the most advanced piano class, and I swear to you, like I just believed I could not do it, and I was not as skilled of a sight reader as the other students. So I went to the
you
dean's
you're
office.
you're so humble to a fault. But go ahead. That's
but,
fine.
but I went to the dean's office, the music dean's office. I was like, listen, I got into the voice program too. I don't want to be a piano major because I don't think I can do this. Please put me in the voice program. And the pros
Oh.
and cons list that I created when I was making that decision to switch studios, the the cons was that I would be singing opera. And then I got into the program and I had to sing opera. But the
Wow. So they
teacher
forced you, and then I'm assuming you began to like it.
Yeah, so I always struggled with singing pop, but then in LaGuardia you have to sing classical and you have to sing in choir every day, and my voice just happened to really stick out
Wow.
compared to everyone else,
And
and
then
I
you
got
had.
forced.
I want to move it ahead so we have enough time.
It's okay.
And so you learn Italian. You know Italian, or you just sing it
Um,
anyway.
we learn like the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is like symbols on how to
I see.
pronunciate words in different languages. So we get like diction classes in Italian, French, German, English. I do Spanish too. And so it's like we don't really speak those languages, but we know how to pronounce them. And we also
Right.
sometimes, since I speak Spanish, I do speak a little bit of Italian. Like they kind of
I
um,
got it.
are
Again, I
similar.
want to move you ahead. You and I, we could talk about this for a long time. Something else you said that was very interesting to me, the fact that you gravitated to it, you were forced to do it, and then can I assume you began to love it, right? You began to feel
Yeah,
like this was part of you.
it became a really wonderful form of expression, for me. And, when you're a teenager, you experience so many emotions and so many things happen. And for me to go to like choir class every day, go to voice class
Wow.
every day,
And
it really helped me, let it all out.
so you teach? I know you teach piano. Do you work at and voice? Do you work at the Point doing that? That's
Yes.
wonderful. Oh, that's just
Yes.
wonderful. They're very smart for having you. Listen, I want to show a clip, and then we're going to talk about getting to Carnegie Hall. How do you get
Oh,
to Carnegie Hall? I'm sure you practice, practice, practice. We know that. But here is, I guess this was part of an audition or something that we're
yeah,
going
we
to
have to
show.
do pre-screening videos every year to
All
submit
right.
that to
Here we,
companies.
ladies and gentlemen, mezzo soprano Linda Maritza Collazo.
Oui, mais tu te silence, oui, et les vrais sont de deux. Donc, pour me tenir compagnie, j'emmènerai mon amoureux. Mon amoureux, il est un diable. Je l'ai mis à la portière. Ma pauvre cœur, très consolable. Mon cœur est comme l'air. J'ai des galons à la douzaine, mais ils ne sont pas à mon gré. Voici l'envol de la semaine qui va m'aimer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there it is.
Oh,
Linda Maritza Collazo. Congratulate. I mean, it's so beautiful. I was going to say from the Bronx to your heart. That's where
oh.
it is. So the debut in Carnegie Hall, you're going to be a soloist at the Carnegie Hall Stern Auditorium. When is that? And tell us all about
So
it. That's exciting as all get, you know?
yeah, it's March 25th at 6 p.m. It's a huge deal. I've performed at Carnegie Hall before, but at the smaller theaters. There are like three theaters. The famous
Right.
one, which is Stern, and then the smaller ones. And I'm debuting at Stern, which is the one that's in all the movies and
Wow.
videos.
Are you going to be, is it going to be an opera performance and you're going to play a part, or it's actually like a solo performance?
So I'm what's called a transitional singer. So I'm going to be singing in between sets where these choirs are going to be transitioning off the stage. So I'm going to be singing alone with piano for 30 minutes,
Wow. Now,
which is a huge deal.
it's a huge deal. And did you select the material or was it selected for you? You selected. Wow. What a great
I
thing.
know. I
Uh,
feel so blessed.
are you nervous?
Of
Yeah.
course I'm nervous, but
But,
all I
but
can do is prepare every day.
folks, you just saw what you, yeah. How often do you practice?
Oh gosh. Now that I'm back singing, I try to do at least an hour a day.
An hour a day.
Yeah, when it's like a lot of stuff, like when I really have a lot of things to sing at 2 hours a day, I like to cut it off at two. It can be more, but a lot of it's also studying, like literally sitting down and looking at the music like it's a book
Right.
and memorizing it and annotating.
Do you like do stuff for your voice, like I don't know, gargle with salt water or do things like, I mean, I don't know what they do now.
So one thing
I've
that I
just been talking
do,
all these years. I've never sung all these years.
vocal health is incredibly important, especially like the older I
Obviously.
get. Like I'm learning how like I used to think it was crazy to just like be so obsessive, but now I'm like, no, you have to really take care of it. It's such a tiny muscle in your larynx.
Of course.
And I actually have asthma. I'm from the Bronx. This is a very common problem. So I do use a nebulizer, like
Mhm.
a small one, like the portable ones, and I put saline in it. And it's good for the lungs, but it's also really good for the voice because it
Wow.
hydrates the vocal cords. I drink a ton of tea. I have to really monitor my acid reflux. That's like
Wow.
something that's happening now that I'm 26.
Uh,
It's a
All of
lot.
26. Listen, but you're completely dedicated to it, and that dedication shows in the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, now at Carnegie Hall is going to be Linda Maritza Collazo. This is what I'm going to do that's going to be very, very annoying. You want to just sing something for us?
Oh,
Anything, 3 bars of something. I don't care. Just so people could see and hear you. Go ahead. Just
L'amour was a rebelle qui ne peut apprivoiser. Et c'est bien qu'on l'appelle s'il lui convient de refuser. En effet, mais dans son prière, la parle bien l'autre se tait. C'est l'autre que je préfère. Il n'a rien dit, mais il m'appelait.
there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Really, again, we talk about all the things that people make judgments about our home borough, the Bronx and the South Bronx, and growing up in Hunts Point, and they say, wait a minute, they view it all differently. And here's just an example of something so beautiful and so wonderful. So after this performance, I mean, what's next? We're not even thinking that far. Let's get through March 25th, and we'll go from there.
a couple of things actually. So along with
Go tell us.
debuting at Carnegie Hall March 25th, I'm actually also debuting at Lincoln Center at Alice Tully Hall in April 15th. So
Oh my goodness!
It's a big next couple months for me. A lot of prep.
We in the Bronx are so proud of you. Are there other Bronx opera singers? I mean, I've interviewed musicians of all types, rock and jazz and salsa, and all hip hop, of course, and all different types of musicians. You are, to my mind, the first opera singer of some note who's from the Bronx. Are there others?
Yeah, there are. They're just not from Hunts Point. I'm trying. There is one that is like famous, but I think he's settling down to have a family right now. I keep forgetting his name, but I do know.
Nice.
I do know 2 other opera singers, and one of them, she's gone to like Juilliard and Rice, and
we're almost out of time. I just think that it's just an incredible thing that I could just say, hey, would you sing for us? And you just launched into this just most gorgeous stuff. You're the best. Say hello to your sister Patty, who I know well, and good luck on the 25th. People just go to like Carnegie Hall, like the box office. They can get in to see it. I mean, what do they have?
Yes, so there are tickets available. I believe on my website there's a link. I just have to.
Okay, what is that website?
So for my events, just go to lindacollazo.com/events. And then you just have to scroll, and then it says like RSVP or like tickets. Get in there.
Listen, we got to run. You are just so great and represent us in the Bronx so beautifully. Congratulations. Good luck. Practice, practice, practice. That's how you did it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, folks, that will do it for us on the Bronx Buzz. Thanks again to Ralph. Thanks again to Linda. Boy, do we have a great, wonderful borough that just breeds excellence in everything we do. And you know what's going to happen next week? We'll be back. See you next week. Good night.